From Reuters, Trump pledges 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, deeper tariffs on China. So this story was breaking just a few hours ago. Donald Trump posted, on January 20th, as one of the many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. Trump said the tariffs would remain in place until the two countries clamp down on drugs, particularly fentanyl, and migrants crossing the border illegally. On China, the president-elect accused Beijing of not taking strong enough action to stop the flow of illicit drugs crossing the U.S. border from the U.S. Into the U.S. from Mexico. Until such time as they stop, we will be charging China an additional 10% tariff above any additional tariffs on all of their many products coming into the United States, Trump said. Trump has previously pledged to end China's most favored nation trading status and slap tariffs on Chinese imports in excess of 60%, much higher than those imposed during the first term. I got to say, based AF, I'm very excited for this, and I look forward to seeing how it plays out.
Wow. Am I the
worst case scenario? They raise the price of everything by 25%.
Yep.
Well,
that's right.
I mean, everything.
Yeah, that nothing could go wrong with that.
So,
I mean, inflation. Anybody familiar with inflation?
So I was really critical of Trump in his first term when he talked about when everyone was talking about a trade war, right? And the trade war never materialized. We never had the negative consequences that we were told were going to happen when Donald Trump comes and gets in office and there's a trade war, because the trade war never happened. Right.
This is so the complaints about these tariffs is just first order thinking. What's going to happen? Mexico and Canada are going to say, please, for the love of God, no. What do we have to do to stop this? And then Trump's going to say, I want these concessions. And then the tariffs never materialize.
The concessions should be that Alberta becomes greater Montana.
I don't know.
I like that idea.
Territorial
It's beautiful, man. I just got back from a trip up there, dude. It's awesome.
Well, the big problem is that if they don't materialize, fine. It's a trade negotiation.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have imposed tariffs. It's one of the many factors that drove inflation.
So
what? You look at Chinese goods and whether they're almost anything you buy from over there, which if you say you don't buy them, you got a phone in front of you.
Sure.
Sorry, you do.
Well, this is made in Korea.
Okay.
I think actually iPhones are China, and I think Androids. Well, actually, some Androids are made in China.
And ViewSonic, who makes those monitors?
Oh, it's all China. Yeah.
But of course, the negotiation and trying to close the borders down and make sure we're holding tight. But sorry, I'm not a tariffs guy, and I never have been. And no Austrian economist will make that argument.
No, it's
sorry.
And look, like I have a lot of libertarian leanings in my past. There was a time where I called myself a libertarian, and that's exactly how I thought of it when they were talking about the trade war. I was like, this is bad news. All the people that I listen to and read stuff about, they all said this is a bad deal. And like I said, it never materialized. So all I can say is if this was when the first time I was thinking, oh, this is what the Austrians tell me, and I agree, maybe, and I was wrong, and I was proven to be wrong. So I'm not an economist, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I would at the very least say, I'll give the guy the benefit of the doubt this time because it was fine last time.
Let's start here. Do you know how skateboards are made?
No, not a skateboard expert, that's for sure.
Just because we make skateboards, and I've been skateboarding my whole life, I know this. Skateboards are made of North American rock maple, either coming from the U.S., usually from Canada. They don't make the skateboards here. They take the wood, they chop the trees down, put them on big shipping containers and send them to China, where Chinese laborers for dirt slave labor costs turn them into skateboards, then putting on big cargo ships and sending them back to the United States. I never understood why that made sense. That's actually consuming more energy and more wasteful. But it's okay because the Chinese laborers work for 50 cents an hour. So you can get a skateboard for cheaper so long as it's made by Chinese slave labor. The problem? The American companies that used to make skateboards go out of business, and now people can't afford skateboards anymore. Skateboards end up costing $80 for a pro model where they used to cost $55. And it's because the companies that used to make them locally and could get them to you easily and the people whose lives were sustained and supported doing it. So what really, really bothers me largely about the shipping off of skateboarding manufacturing to China is that basically skateboarding is dead in this country. What is now an Olympic sport, which used to be a massive multi-billion-dollar industry, is watching massive collapse across the board. One of the reasons, I think, is that all of it was outsourced to China. The people who worked in the industry, who would make the products, lost their jobs. Now they're not working in skateboarding, advocating for skateboarding, doing sponsorships and promos. They're just out of work. Ain't no Chinese factory is going to come to the United States and put on a skate demo for kids to get them to buy skateboards. So what ends up happening is all of these factories start going under, and now our culture, our economy, and everything is worse off for it. It's an addiction, and I say we put 100% tariff on all of these goods and force the factories to come back. So when we make skateboards over at boonieshq.com, they are all made in America, and that means our profit margins are smaller, but we still sell the boards for $55, whereas the other people who are making them in China sell them for more. And, you know, I'll say that we try, but I'm asking, you know, all of these guys in the industry, why is it that the industry has collapsed? And this is just one example. So you see the auto industry flee Michigan and they start opening plants in Mexico. Donald Trump, this is Michael Moore's famous speech, comes in and he says, Donald Trump goes to the auto manufacturers and says, I'm going to slap a 30% tariff on all your vehicles and no one will ever buy them again. It was the first time someone had stood up for the auto workers in the Rust Belt. When Donald Trump got elected in his first term, what did he do? He did put those, I don't know if he put tariffs down, but we ended up seeing a $3 billion reinvestment from these trade restrictions into Michigan to bring back auto worker jobs. Donald Trump loses, Joe Biden gets in. What's the first thing that happens? That factory leaves once again. And now the auto workers are under an EV mandate and they're starting to lose their jobs because nobody wants to buy these things. And what happens to these people? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, that workers and unions, whatever, are guaranteed work when technology is shifting or changing, but you're not going to do it by government mandate. And shipping off factories to foreign countries doesn't make any sense.
Okay, but this is a little out of my lane. I'm a gun lobbyist, right? But I studied economics, and I consider myself an Austrian, big fan of Ludwig von Mises, and a lot of libertarian friends love to school me on that world. I'm a free trader, and all it ends up doing is hurting the consumer. Phil, you say, oh, no, I didn't see anything wrong. I'll bet you 2 years ago you were complaining about inflation. It doesn't happen immediately. This stuff is a cascading effect.
But the trade war never materialized. That's what I'm saying. He was saying that he was going to start a trade war, and that was used as a big ask. And then the trade war never actually materialized. So
he wasn't even saying that. The media was claiming.
Well,
fair enough.
It's a loaded. The trade war is a loaded term, but you notice that the Biden administration kept the same tariffs. They didn't even get rid of them, so they agree. To me, it's exactly what the unions want us to do. It's a great way to destroy economies. I don't know the skateboard industry, but look, you're saying you're producing skateboards that are cheaper than the ones in China. Sounds like you're doing.
That's incorrect. We are losing profits, sacrificing to make sure we can try and revive a dead industry and bring back the jobs that were lost. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.